I'm Idiotech, and these are my first impressions of Okhlos for PC. Now this game is a preview build. The game isn't actually available yet, but when it is, in about a month or so, you'll be able to find it on Steam. Now it's developed by a studio called Coffee Powered Machine, and the core idea here is that you are a Greek philosopher, you are pissed off because the gods have angered you, and your goal is to collect a huge mob, run around the city destroying everything in your path, killing all the soldiers, killing all the enemies, make your way to a boss and kill the boss. It's got roguelike mechanics, and it's very similar to Rogue Legacy in the sense that your progression isn't completely deleted when you die. Essentially, the way it works is this. Let's open up the encyclopedia. So these are the units in the game. These are units you can run into in the world and pick up and recruit into your mob. You'll also unlock hero units. Now, this is the progression system. Every time you play, you can trade in your units for hero units. Those hero units are then unlocked, and you'll gain access to them in future. We have enemies. So these are the various enemy types in the game. A lot of them I haven't actually seen yet. And then we have bosses. I've actually beaten 2 of these bosses so far. Now, my progress has been reset, so it's not actually reflecting that down there, but I have actually beaten these 2 bosses before. But as you can see, there are a ton of bosses in the game, and then we have scenes. These are cutscenes, essentially, as you progress through the story. So, let's jump into the game. Start it up, you'll get a cutscene here, and another cutscene where God kills all your philosopher buddies, and you're very angry about it, so you start a riot. It's kind of a funny concept. Okay, so this is how the game works. We have a philosopher here. This philosopher is controlled with W, A, S, and D. If we walk into other citizens, or in this case cats, we can then control those cats with the mouse. So I'm pointing in various places, and the cats are following it. Now the way this works is kind of interesting. I'll go get some more guys so we can actually do some damage. Let's run around here. Now if I hold the shift button down, it will allow me to run and my units will spread out, as you can see. If I hold the space button, everyone will converge on my mouse cursor. So that's interesting, and it is very useful for parts of the game when you come up against certain types of enemies. Now if I hold down the left mouse button, my mob will start destroying everything around them, which is kind of what a mob is supposed to do. Now, if I hold down the left mouse button though, sorry, the right mouse button, it will put my units into a defensive formation. This is required for defending yourself against various enemy attacks. So we have run, we have converge on a point with space, we have defend, and we have attack. And that's pretty much it in terms of mechanics. Now I'm gonna go get a few more people before we actually run into the game. We picked up a couple of philosophers. Now when you add philosophers, which are the guys wearing white robes to your group, they act as health. So every time your main philosopher dies, a philosopher in your group will replace that philosopher, and that's how much health you have. Right now I have 3 philosophers, so I have 3 health. So let's run up here and talk to this guy. He allows us to manage our mob. I'm going to play as this mob leader because he gives me a 40% bonus to morale. I'm going to pick these 2 persistent heroes because they give me some buffs as well, and why not? I can have 2 of 3 and I only have 2 unlocked. Okay, so now that changes our army composition, and we'll get into the battle. Let's go over here, we go to new game. As for the art style and presentation, I think it's quite cute. I like the 3D combined with pixel art style, the voxel combined with pixel art. I think it's nice. We've seen it before, but combined with the perspective, I think it works well. Now, if we run into units on the field that are sort of grayed out, we'll pick them up and add them to our mob. Now, these blue guys, they're defensive, right? So they'll increase our defensive bonus, and red guys will increase our attack bonus. But right now, there doesn't appear to be that many red guys. In the top left-hand corner of the screen here, you'll see 25 out of 25, so that's our current mob size. At the top of the screen in the center here, you'll see a bar that represents how much damage and how cool our mob is. Basically, the higher that number, it appears that you do more attack damage, and the lower that number, the lower your attack damage and the slower your mob moves. Oh shit, we have to beat one of these guys immediately. Okay, I'm being attacked and I'm already fucking dead. So the game's hard, by the way. I did fail to mention that. It's an incredibly difficult game, and you will get wrecked over and over and over again. If you're expecting this to be an easy game, think again. Okay, so this is ridiculous that we have to fight these guys immediately, but I will do my best. We are failing miserably. Yeah, now the game is procedurally generated, and this is a good example of how the procedural generation can fuck you over. So what I'm doing here is I'm fighting the guys, and every time they attack me, I'm pressing the right mouse button to block their attacks. And you have to time this perfectly, otherwise you die and take a shitload of damage. And as you can see, I only have like 2 guys left now. So I've just lost my entire mob, so I'm going to go run around and try and pick up a few more people. This isn't a good thing, and I'm kind of screwed now this has happened, but I'll do my best to make it through the rest of the game. All right, let's see if we can pick up a decent number of people. Actually, we may be able to get back up to 25, which would be kind of helpful. Yeah, let's get some more defensive units. Now, as I said, the game can seriously screw you over with its procedural generation. Let's try and kill these guys again. Okay, they're done. Thank Christ for that. That was very hard. Those mobs don't usually show up until a little bit later in the game. Getting them immediately on the first level is a little bit unfair. Okay, let's try and get in here and kill this guy if we can. Okay, they took damage. Okay, let's do some more damage. Okay, he's done. Thank Christ. This is hard. My mob is now depressed because we're not doing enough damage. And another one of these guys. Okay, let's block it. Let's get that damage in. Okay, it's not too difficult, but when there's tons of them at once, all going off at different times, it can be kind of hard. Right, so we've cleared the level. Now, before we continue, I may as well show you what the rest of the screen is about. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you have a map that tells you where the enemies are on the screen. And over here, this is our special abilities. We pick these up as we play, and when I get one, I will demonstrate it to you. All right, let's go. Let's run. Run, 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 run. We want to run. We want to try and be more exciting as a mob, because we're currently quite depressing. Okay, so this is a merchant. This is an interesting mechanic in the game. I currently can't afford any of these, but these are hero units. Now I can trade various units within my army for these particular units. So here, it would cost me 5 warriors to gain a stealth warrior that reduces the damage done to my units, or no, by hazards, sorry, so that's environmental hazards, by 25%. This one, she dealt damage to enemies over time, so this gives me a character that does dots. This one, he boosted mob capacity by 5, so that's kind of good if you want to get a bigger mob, and you just trade basic peasants for that. I have 1 less than I need, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's how that system works. So the way to upgrade your army is by trading in crappy units for more expensive units, but the problem with that is it lowers your army size, so then you have to buff it up again with units every time you enter a level. So that's how that mechanic works. It's kind of an interesting store mechanic that you don't normally see in a game, you know? Trading your actual, like, fighting units for better fighting units is an interesting mechanic that I haven't seen before. And I'm taking ridiculous damage and I'm gonna die. And I died, but that's okay because I actually have other philosophers. Wow, this run is a little bit tricky. This run is more than tricky. Okay, I'm gonna use an ability that I have on the 1 key. Now you saw that explosion there. What that does is it triggers off a barrel of explosives that my mob picked up as we were running through the level. You'll find other items as well that you can pick up, and they'll do different things like make you invulnerable for a short period of time. You can get an item that spawns ghosts, so that gives you extra mob capacity. There we go, I just got that then, so I'll just actually use this right now. So I'll press the 4 key, and that spawns a bunch of extra ghosts for me. You can also get hams, like as you can see there, my group is actually carrying a ham around. That ham will heal my party, so if I use that now, that heals the party. If you run into those smoke incense burners, by the way, it makes your philosopher trip out. That's what you were seeing there. All right, let's find the final enemy on this level. And we also have the lion shield looking thing, and that makes us invulnerable for a period of time. Well, let's get rid of this dude. All right, he's gone. Great, finally. All right, the mob needs to move and do some damage while we're moving because our mob level is drastically reducing. Oh wow, tons of shields, cool. So I've got tons of these things now, as you can see. So that makes us invulnerable for an extremely long period of time if we choose to use it. You can get stuck on obstacles occasionally, just because it's difficult to keep an eye on where your philosopher is relative to everyone else in the mob. I will say the controls are somewhat difficult to get used to initially. All right, let's run around, let's do some damage. Now these wizards, you get 2 different kinds of wizards. One set of wizards will essentially just throw fireballs at you. Another set will spawn skeletons that attack your main philosopher, and that can be kind of tricky and you can get overwhelmed pretty fast. All right, let's run through here. Kill these dudes as quickly as possible. Right, let's wipe them out. Where are the rest of the enemies? There's some down here. I'm gonna try and do some damage. All right, let's break some trees. Why not? We're a crazy angry mob. We break trees. Got stuck on the water fountain. All right, let's kill these dudes. So this level was significantly easier than the second level, which doesn't make a huge amount of sense. So there are some balance issues. As I said, this game is not actually finished yet, so you can't expect everything to be ironed out, but it does have some balance problems due to its procedural generation that I would like to see them iron out before the game releases. Before we go to the next section, let's try and buy some stuff. We can't buy any stuff. I kind of wanted this persistent hero. Oh well. It would be nice if I could show you the purchasing mechanics, but such is life, such is roguelike. They're all like this. I've tried to record this 3 times already. I've died at various inconvenient points where I was trying to explain mechanics. So this is my 3rd time recording the video. Alright, let's get this done. I'm going to use a 2 right now, sorry. That makes my army invulnerable. So hopefully we can just clear these guys out as quickly as possible, because I would like to show you the boss mechanics. Alright, come on, let's get through here. Come on, guys, converge. Do some damage. Do some damage. Do some damage. I'm gonna die. Alright, damage. Oh, not one of these guys again. Block it. Alright, he got taken out pretty quick. Block it. No, I did not block it and lost half my army, and I died again. It's okay though, I've got more philosophers. Alright, take this guy out, take this guy out. The yellow guys tend to just run away from you. Alright, let's replace people in our army. Let's get back up to 25. Alright, cool. Let's break those incense things. That gives us more mob power. Uh-oh, skeletons. And that means that we have a wizard somewhere. Alright, let's kill this stuff. So as you can see, look, it does have some strategy to it, especially when it comes to enemy mechanics. The controls are somewhat difficult to wrap your head around initially. You do get used to them over time, but I still get stuck occasionally, just on pieces of scenery and stuff that I'm not, you know, paying attention to. Because it is, as I said, very difficult to sort of manage these 2 separate things simultaneously. The art style is really nice. The music's fitting, you know, it's not amazing, but it's fitting. And mechanically, oh, that's one problem with the game, as you might have seen there. The game doesn't support multi-monitors currently, and so it's borderless constantly, and every time you click outside the window, you get tabbed out. That's kind of frustrating. It doesn't happen a huge amount, but when it does happen, it is annoying, especially if you're in the middle of a fight. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool game. I think it has promise. I think it has a reasonable amount to offer. At the same time, it's a roguelike with RPG mechanics we've seen 100,000 times before. So if you're a massive fan of roguelikes and you like the idea of this mob and running around doing shitloads of damage, then this is a cool game for you. But if you're used to these mechanics, these RPG mechanics, and you are not particularly enthralled by the concept, then you might likely just give this one a miss. However, in terms of roguelikes, I think it's a pretty good one. Okay, philosopher. We trade 5 philosophers, is that correct? Or we get a philosopher? Oh, we get a philosopher. We get 5 philosophers for 5 animals. Well, I'm doing that because that gives us health. We still have invulnerability. So yeah, there's strategy. There's things to think about. Okay, let's get rid of these enemies, and then I think we get to a boss, which I would love to show you. I'll likely die on the boss, but I would still like to show you the boss. Okay, let's get in here. My mob is so depressing, man. Alright, uh-oh, not another one of these dicks. Alright, let's just take him out, time it perfectly. Yep, there you go. So I'm just pressing the right mouse button to time that, and someone's firing arrows at me, which is very inconvenient. I'm taking a lot of damage. I do not know who's firing arrows at me currently. Okay, let's press 1, use the AoE explosive. Let's try and get rid of these guys. Come on, mob, do more damage. It's because most of the people in my mob are defensive. As you can see, most of them are blue. So they don't do very high damage, but they survive. Which isn't amazing. I also have lost a decent amount of units at this point. Come on, just kill this one guy, please. Thank you. Now let's go pick up some more units before we get completely wiped out. That's a warrior. Yes, please. I will take a warrior. Alright, let's kill this dude. Let's kill the skelly. Let's not get hit by this arrow. He's the one summoning things. Okay, that fills back up our army, but again, with defensive units, so our damage is low, but we do have reasonable survivability, so that's nice. For going into a boss fight, that's nice. But it depends on the boss. Sometimes you need more damage, sometimes you need more survivability. Okay, there's one enemy left. There's a chest over here, it says on the map. Let's blow this thing up and see what we get. Nice, and thus the talking dog joined the mob. He boosted max HP by 60%. Well, that's cool. If I had a healing item, I could kind of appreciate that, but I don't. I think we're about to fight Apollo because these arrows are not coming from an enemy in the actual level itself. So I think the next mob will be Apollo, so let's just run over there and see if I can show you a boss fight before I end the video with my depressing mob. Alright, I'm not going to actually trade anyone in for this. Okay, here's a boss, finally. Hera. Okay. So we're going to fight her. She has some difficult mechanics. She turns your entire army into a bunch of chickens, which means you can't do any damage. So this is all I have. 17. Why are so many gone? Why did I lose, like, guys already? Did she wipe them out? That is not helpful. I'm not going to win this, by the way. The boss fights are really difficult. Alright, so I'm just killing the ads right now just to try and keep them down and keep my philosopher alive. Now, she will hover around, and then when she lands, you can attack her. I still have health, so I will survive that attack. So you can attack her, and you can see her health meter down at the bottom there. But now we need to get away because she's lowering morale. And I'm going to die again. So she lowers morale, and she turns your army into chickens, and she tries to kill you with the ads. She also has the occasional explosive damage sort of area that she will kill you with. Yeah, I have 10 guys left, as you can see, and there are a lot of ads. So I didn't build a strong enough army. And that is partly due to me not picking the right unit composition and losing too many units early on and having more of a defensive army. As you can see, my army got turned into chickens there. But it is also partly down to RNG. I'm going to lose now, but I just wanted to show you a boss. It is partly down to RNG. I didn't get many opportunities to purchase mob increases, like to my actual mob capacity. Didn't get too many opportunities there. I also don't know what the shopkeeper is going to want. So that's kind of a problem as well, because it's like, if the shopkeeper's going to offer me, say, plus 10 to mob capacity, that would be useful in a fight like this with so many ads, as you can see, but I don't know he's going to offer me that, so I can't pick the correct units in my unit composition so that I can trade. So there's a lot of RNG in this game, and it does, for me, take some of the fun and enjoyment out of it and some of the strategy away, because you are just ultimately depending on dice rolls. And that sucks a bit, to be honest. I'm just going to give up. There's no way I can beat this army. It's ridiculous at this point. Yeah, I'm dead. So, yeah, you combine the RNG and the procedural generation that this game has, and you can get situations that are basically unwinnable, and I don't like that personally as a design mechanic, but some people will. So it really depends on the person. But that's the game. I hope I did a reasonable job showing off the mechanics to you. And if you are interested in picking up the game when it does finally release, you can find a link in the description box below to the store page. If you found this video useful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support my channel, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description box below. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.